Mikaja and Wiley Harp, known as the Harp brothers, are considered the earliest documented serial killers in the United States. Operating in the late 18th century, they were responsible for the brutal murders of at least 39 people across Tennessee, Kentucky, and Illinois. Their crimes were so heinous that even fellow outlaws were appalled. Eventually, they were captured and executed, but their legacy remains a chilling part of American history. In one of the most devastating acts of racial violence in U.S. history, a white mob destroyed the prosperous black community of Greenwood in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Known as Black Wall Street, the neighborhood was burned to the ground, leaving thousands homeless and an estimated 100 to 300 people dead. This atrocity was largely omitted from history books for decades. During the Cold War, the CIA conducted a series of clandestine experiments under the code name MKUltra. These experiments involved administering LSD and other drugs to unwitting subjects to explore mind control and interrogation techniques. The program operated for years before being exposed, leading to public outrage and congressional hearings. Between 1846 and 1870, the Native American population in California plummeted from approximately 150,000 to 30,000. This drastic decline was due in part to state-sanctioned violence, including bounties paid for Native American scalps and other atrocities committed during the Gold Rush era. The 369th Infantry Regiment, an African-American unit known as the Harlem Hellfighters, served with distinction during World War I. They spent more time in combat than any other American unit and were highly decorated by the French government. Despite their heroism, they returned home to a country that continued to subject them to racial discrimination. In an unusual attempt at espionage during the Cold War, the CIA launched the Acoustic Kitty Project, which involved implanting listening devices into cats to spy on Soviet embassies. The project was a failure. The first cat was reportedly run over by a taxi shortly after deployment. The program was eventually abandoned. The construction of the White House involved the labor of enslaved African Americans. Between 1792 and 1800, enslaved workers were used for tasks such as quarrying stone, carpentry, and bricklaying. This fact highlights the deep entanglement of slavery in the nation's history, even in its most iconic buildings. Throughout American history, several presidents have faced assassination attempts. For President, Abraham Lincoln, James Garfield, William McKinley, and John F. Kennedy were assassinated while in office. Others, including Andrew Jackson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Ronald Reagan, survived attempts on their lives. These incidents have had profound impacts on the nation's security measures and political climate. The FBI counterintelligence program COINTELPRO aimed to surveil, infiltrate, and disrupt civil rights organizations during the 1950s and 1960s. Targets included Martin Luther King Jr., the Black Panther Party, and other activists. The program employed tactics such as wiretapping, false accusations, and even attempts to incite violence within these groups. During World War II, the U.S. military developed an experimental weapon known as the bat bomb. The idea was to attach small incendiary devices to bats, which would then be released over Japanese cities. The bats would roost in buildings, and the timed explosives would ignite fires. The project was tested but ultimately deemed impractical and was abandoned in favor of other strategies.